I used my late father's cameras to photograph famous people to help the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. So please watch, enjoy and subscribe. Hello, today I want to introduce you to one of the most wonderful people I've probably ever met doing this. This is Richard Briers, and this is the first time I ever photographed him, sitting on a trunk in the back of my little bedroom. Pretty straightforward portraits, but I used them in probably the first big show I had, which was at the National Theatre. Got my name in lights, which was pretty cool. Richard came along to support me. So that creature on the left, that's me, and there's Carol Drinkwater from the vet thing that was on, and there's Richard and Michael Horden, who is another lovely chap, used to wander around to my bedroom for photos. That sounds awful, but you know what I mean. And that little chap looking through between us is the man who printed all my big colour pictures, because I didn't know how to print colour. Anyway, I said to Richard, I've got this idea, I want to dress everyone up as the person they'd like to have been. And he immediately said, Cassius, I want to be Cassius. The minute he draws his sword to stab Caesar, he said, I have this desire to play classical parts, which he later did, which I don't know if he'd ever done that up to now, but he did actually do that later on for Kenneth Branagh. So I wonder whether this was the moment that he realised his true potential as a dramatic artist. I doubt it. Anyway, we had a massive hoot doing this. I wanted to photograph him as a statue on a plinth, so I made this thing which kept falling down. He had to tape it to the back of his legs, so much merriment. And then when he saw it, he said, I look like a fucking corkscrew. So when I had this book out, I turned him into a Roman corkscrew. But I used this picture a lot because I think most people didn't recognise him at all in the exhibition, so it's quite nice to get a shock and go, oh, it's Richard Briers. So cut to many years later, and I took my kids to meet Richard in his house because I said, you've got to meet this lovely man. Because they'd loved watching repeats of The Good Life, just as I'd liked it as a kid, watched it with my dad. They loved the whole concept of this adult who'd stepped out of the rat race to grow his own vegetables and had goats and pigs and everything in the garden. And Richard in his older age, of course, had this incredible face. This was the portrait I took, which he chose his favourite from the ones I took. He said, what expression do you want me to make? He said, I do them all from A to B. And one of my most treasured possessions is my signed DVD of The Good Life. And then I found myself back at the National, and it was really exciting because I was able to put up all the old photos I've been taking over the years. That's where we got the title, Portraits for a Purpose. Richard and his lovely wife Annie came and they spent the whole evening, 4 hours really, chatting to my friends. My highlight is that I introduced Richard Briers to George Martin, who then wrote to me and said he'd always wanted to meet Richard. And then his cab came, and that was the last time I saw Richard. So not long later, sadly, we were remembering him at the theatre. A fantastic gathering which included Peter Bowles, Sheila Hancock, Kenneth Branagh and Penelope Keith.
Back, Jill!
So here's to a top man, sadly missed. I'll finish this film with one of my portraits and the words that Annie used from Shakespeare. She found in one of Richard's little books of sonnets.
We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is ended with a sleep.
Thank you for watching. It's free to subscribe by hitting the red button below, and it helps me to help the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity. So please click to conquer cancer. Thank you.